Oh, Mommy said asshole, and that's the toilet word.
Welcome to Life Under the Laundry Pile, airing it all out, one conversation at a time. This is Copper.
This is Heather.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Oh, part of me thinks we need some kind of flashy, fireworks when we say hi the first time. Because I always feel like I'm like, this is Heather.
Like, oh my God, are we doing this again?
I'm thinking.
We could start doing sound effects. Why not?
Look, I could get some tips from the guy in my brother's band, right? He does all that.
Yeah.
So he goes to a lot of microphones with all his moisture, so I'm not real sure.
I try not to think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not real sure that that's a good look or a good idea.
That's why that little foam thingy's in front of your microphone is the moisture that comes off our mouths.
Fucking thing in my face.
It's so gross. We're like starting the show just really gross, like moisture from your mouth. Blah.
I know you can't see me, but I have. I use the microphone we bought in the beginning, and it's this really cute orange. It's our profile, our header picture on Facebook, but it's got this obnoxious black screen in front of it, and literally, like, in order to look at my notes, I have to lean over to look at my notes, and it's just in my bubble, man. It just drives me crazy. So I don't like shit in my bubble. Do you like shit in your bubble?
I don't like shit in my bubble.
That's what he said. Or maybe that's what she said. Sometimes I get confused.
Right.
It's both.
It really depends. Anyone can say
it. It does. I agree.
So it's gotten kind of cold out.
It's very chilly. You guys even got the cold there in Texas. I mean, it's a given for us here in Tennessee.
We had this front come through, and like it's really cold at night and in the morning, and then it gets a little bit warmer during the day, but I mean we're talking like in the 70s, which is awesome. It's amazing. It feels great. I don't have to shave and put shorts on. It's been fantastic. But we went to the Renaissance Festival on Saturday, and I got really pissed on Monday when I woke up because it was cold, because on Saturday it was balls hot. I mean, like 95 degrees out. We're sweating. The kids are miserable. And we just want to have a good time there. But you couldn't get past the heat. In fact, somebody in our group, not one of like within my little family, but someone within the group that we were with, did get sick from the heat because it was just that hot out. So I'm like, why couldn't that cold front come through like 2 days earlier?
And you know what's crazy? I noticed here we have Tennessee Renaissance Festival, and it's really cool because you can literally see the castle up on the hill when you drive from here to Murfreesboro.
Girl, I've been to that Renaissance Festival.
But they do it in the spring when it's nice weather. Like here, literally, they could do it here now. But in Texas, it seems to me spring would be a much more conducive to nice weather time.
Well, but the problem is a lot of that stuff, like they're not doing it in the summer, which is kind of funny. Like it starts in October. Mm-hmm. You can't really control that. And by the time it's done, it is cold out. Well, Texas cold.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but the thing about a lot of these Renaissance festivals, the people that work them actually travel from location to location. And there are other ones in Texas that are held throughout the winter and into the spring. So like the one up in Dallas is in the springtime. Yeah. But yeah, I've actually been to the one right by you. So that's kind of funny.
Well, the kids are excited to go because every time we drive, you see the castle. And it is really cool because it's literally up on the hill. It's a really nice one. It's up on this craggy rock of the hill or whatever. But
and the nice thing about that one, not to go into advertising Renaissance festivals, it's not huge, so it's not super overwhelming.
This is not big like the Texas one.
It's a very nice one. Yeah. So, but those things crack me up. Like, you know, we get in there, and the first thing is we're walking in, and we went with our friend and her daughter and her cousin who was down from Dallas. They'd never been before, which I didn't realize it until like we're walking from the parking lot into the, onto the property. And she's like, every time someone goes by us, she's like, oh my, oh my gosh. And I'm like, and that, it just dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you a Renaissance Festival virgin? And she's like, I am. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to be here for this. Cause that crap is crazy. The people watching going on is just, it's prime real estate. It really is. it's one of the only reasons I truly love going, that and the food, but the people watching is just insane there.
I've only been once, and it was for Aubrey's field trip a few years back, and I have to tell you, the people watching was like off the charts. It was a million times better than people watching at the mall or Disneyland.
And that was a field trip during the week, right?
Yes.
So it's not actually open to the public at that point. It's just the schools going, girl, you haven't even seen anything. First of all, I can only imagine the amount of drugs that are done at a Renaissance Festival any given weekend.
Yeah.
And then you just add like the costumes and the drinking and the heat and everything and the lack of showers. It's really powerful stuff.
I feel like it's Dungeons and Dragons on steroids.
Unreal life,
Yes,
yeah.
like the people,
life,
like the kids that were there, and a lot of like, it was like, you know, schools, homeschools, all that. It was Kids Day, so no matter what, if you were a kid, you could go for a discount or whatever. They opened just for you for that day, and the strangest little groups of boys, and you just know it was literally like Dungeons and Dragons and Big Bang Theory. Like they all, you know, ascended on the Renaissance.
It's super fun though. It's super fun. I love Renaissance Festival, but the people that do this stuff are crazy. And the fun thing is you'll be talking to someone in their booth and they're doing their fake English accent and you're like, bitch, you just told me you're from El Paso. You don't need to talk like that. Like, I know where you're from. It says right on your business card where you're from. You can stop now. Yeah.
We rode the, was it an elephant or a camel? I can't recall what they have there.
It could be either one. It depends.
Have a giant animal. I want to say it's an elephant.
They have both, actually, I think. So
and the girls rode it that year, and they all hated it. And they're like,
really?
Yeah, this is not fun. I mean, I can imagine. They're really slow, and it's really, you know.
It's a rough ride.
As slow as it goes, it's very bumpy, and it's just kind of, but yeah, I think it's a really neat concept. I mean, I think it's pretty cool that they have it. Every state has one, maybe, I'm guessing, pretty much.
Multiple places. And they're not all the same company, but I mean, you can have a state that has several different actual properties, but they just, a lot of them just travel around to the different places because a lot of the stuff they're selling, you're not going to sell that. I mean, that's like for that genre. So
this begs the question. I'm guessing that you've gone multiple times in your life.
I've never dressed up. Oh, was that the question?
No.
Yeah, I've gone a ton.
I know.
That's something we almost always did every year when we lived up in Ohio was we went to the one in Michigan. So
we had a really sad one in Pensacola growing up. And it was akin to the Pensacola Interstate Fair, which was one of those deals where, and again, the Renaissance Festival was on the same place on the fairgrounds. So those two venues were kind of the things that like the stoners did and like, you know, those kind of kids did. So I never did it ever. The first time I'd ever gone was here. And I have to tell you, the one in Texas is impressive because the stuff stays there year round. It's built.
Oh yeah, it's a permanent
site.
site.
Pensacola, it was brought in and set up. So it's not as impressive, you know. It's like a fair, and they just are like an interstate fair or whatever.
Well, and what's cool about the one that's by us is they have events throughout the year too. So they don't just have the festival; they open up for other things as well. So
yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
yeah,
that sounds fun.
That was fun, but it could have definitely been a lot cooler. Like it was so hot. I mean, we stopped on the way home and had dinner, but we literally like almost didn't do that because we just knew what we smelled like. I mean, there was no denying it, you know.
The good thing is if you stopped close enough to where the festival was, probably
everyone
lot of people in there
that.
were just like you. So it's a pretty safe bet. You know, if you stop somewhere right around, that's where they were too. So
yeah,
I agree. The weather is great. I mean, it's really been chilly here, like in the 30s.
Beautiful.
We had frost yesterday, so it's pretty crazy. And yet my kids, they still want to wear shorts and t-shirts. I'm like, dude, there's a time that you can't do that anymore. We're in Tennessee. We're not in Texas anymore.
Well, I felt bad on Monday because I didn't check the weather because it's been so hot. Like I didn't realize it had changed. And they went to go down to the bus stop and we were running late and they're like looking at me in the corner and they're shivering. I'm like, tough shit, keep going. Like there's no turning back now.
I can't tell you how many times my kids did that. Like I'd shove them, like we'd walk out the door to go to school And they'd be like, oh, it's cold. I'm like, yeah, you're good. It'll warm up quick.
Yeah. It's going to warm
you'd have
up.
to literally shove them out at school with them still saying, I'm cold, but I'm cold. It's cold in the classroom. I'm like, you're fine. You're a kid.
You're not going to freeze. It's Texas cold.
Freezing in class when you were a kid. You might have done it,
No.
but it's not something you're going to grow up and say, oh my God, that scarred me for life.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to not be able to do math because that one day you were freezing in class.
So, we had a much more exciting week than I did, or weekend than I did. The most exciting thing I did was we got a damn rabbit.
For dinner, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I know. Copper asked me earlier, she said, how do you like the rabbit? And I said, all it does is eat and shit. That's like all it does. And I think it might even eat the shit. I don't even know at this point.
Probably.
It's super cute, but man. And I told him, I threatened her. I said, if you don't take care of it, it's going back to the lady because I am not taking care of it. If I wanted to take care of it, I would have gotten it for myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So far, so good. Keep your fingers crossed. But, yeah. It's a good thing it's cute, like I say with my kids. So.
That's the same thing I say with the kids. Like, you're lucky you're cute. Like, this is what keeps you alive on a regular basis.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. They need that T-shirt. It's a good thing it's a good thing I'm cute.
Red's wearing one today that says, I'm why we can't have nice things. Every time he wears it, I giggle a little bit. So, because it's true.
It is.
True story.
I think all kids need that shirt too.
Right. Exactly.
Fuckers. Ugh.
Do you have a what the fuck story for us?
I do, and it is so bizarre. And I have to tell you, I kept seeing the headline, and I've not yet really read it. So I'm going to act shocked, genuinely shocked when I read it, okay? This week's what the fuck is... but the headline says, bizarre 1.2 million fajitas theft scheme leads to arrest. I have no idea, but it says a Texas man was charged with felony theft after investigators linked him to an odd plot to steal more than $1.2 million worth of fajitas over 9 years. What the hell, man? It said... It apparently someone came to drop off 800 pounds of fajitas or fajita meat maybe, and he was out of work that day. He had an appointment. So the woman who worked at the place, which I can't figure out, but she said, we don't serve Tex-Mex food. But the driver said, I've been delivering this for 9 years. And so when he came back to work the next day, they confronted him, and he admitted he had been stealing them for 9 years. And I'm not real sure. Like, I don't get this story. But they fired him and arrested him. And then when they obtained a search warrant, they found packages of fajita meat in his refrigerator. Explain this to me. I don't get it. Do you get it?
So who was paying? Like, you shame on this company for delivering meat for that long and not getting paid for it.
Okay, see, I don't get it. I don't get what happened. This just says literally.
I mean, I can get stealing the kind of meat because stealing fajita meat would not be beneath me. I mean, that shit is expensive and delicious. I would not hesitate.
But who was paying? Like who? How?
Right.
How? I don't get this.
So either someone wasn't paying attention to the bills and just paying them, or this company has been delivering meat for 9 years and not getting paid.
I'm not understanding this story. It
Right.
is bizarre. Like, what the fuck, man? Do you like fajita meat that much? I know for a fact he was probably selling it. You know? He's probably selling it. Yeah. I have no idea. Okay, he would literally order on the day and deliver them to customers he already had lined up. But the question begs, well, who did he steal it from? Like, who didn't get their $1.2 million? You know?
Right.
So I'm not understanding. If any of you guys understand this story and can elaborate a little further, please let us know.
I'm sure that the restaurant was like paying the bill without looking to see actually what they were paying. And over 9 years, you know, that's not a ton of money over 9 years.
Okay.
So it was just enough for him to make money off of it, and they didn't see it. But at the same time, how do you not notice?
Because like it says right here, it was the value of the order was between $2,500 and $30,000.
Right.
I mean, they found
that's a big difference.
It is a big difference. I have no idea.
That's funny. Like, you're sitting on the back porch of the restaurant one day and the truck pulls up with the fajita meat and you're like, yes, I will take that fajita meat.
I'm like, what? I I don't know. Yeah, that was a total.
So was it chicken? Was it beef? Shrimp? I wonder what kind it was.
Never buy meat off the back of a truck. That's all I gotta say. So
that's the most delicious
oh
meat.
man, no. Have you ever seen those men that drive around with the damn plugged-in freezer on the back of their truck with a generator and try to sell you shit? Try to sell you steaks and stuff? Have you ever seen those?
No.
We had them in our neighborhood in my old where you live now. We had them several times.
Right.
And you're just like, you're the things my mom warned me about. No, go away. I don't. But yes, they do exist. So it is bizarre.
How funny.
Maybe that's what he was
so
doing.
funny.
Maybe that's what he was doing.
Oh, for sure. Like he was selling it.
Yeah. I mean, nuts. So actually, it's kind of smart if you think about it. He thought, you know what, we're a restaurant.
No, he was genius.
And I will just get fajita meat delivered here and let the restaurant foot the bill, and I'll go out and sell the shit. So, man.
So did they arrest him and he's going to jail now and that's what's happening?
Yeah,
or?
they did arrest him. Not real sure. Obviously, it was fraud of some sort. So, yeah, inevitably his ass is going to jail.
Theft, maybe. Yeah.
He'll never enjoy another fajita for probably 10 years. But, oh well. Let's hope you got your belly full of fajita meat, buddy.
He might be sick of fajita meat. Yeah.
Oh, he'll be getting some kind of meat. It might not be
He'll
fajita.
be getting meat.
Yeah.
No, it's not fajita meat.
Not fajita meat.
That's so funny. It'll be seasoned, but not with fajita seasoning.
It'll be musky. Under nuts.
What did we say earlier? It smells like urine and under nuts.
Like pee and under nuts, man. I think it just threw up in my mouth.
I told you we'd be able to get that quote on the show.
You want to never eat again? Just think about BJ's all day long.
Pee. Yeah, BJ's.
Yeah. Barf. So
how funny. So we're gonna talk today about urban legends.
Yes. Okay. All right.
What was that? Was that your pen?
My pen.
Oh, I'm like, is someone knocking at your door? Knock at my door.
We do have this weird knocking noise in our wall in Paige's room, and Lloyd says it's the heater, and it is so fucking scary because it sounds like somebody when they fart and it goes pow.
I have become increasingly more convinced that there are spirits in this house.
Why? Who the hell would be in that house?
I don't know, but it'll sound like someone's up here walking around in the middle of the day.
Ooh, that gives me chills.
To the point, like, I'll come up here and look around, and then I'll go out in the backyard and think, oh, maybe the landlord sent someone over to work on the roof, and there's nobody there.
Oh, that's freaky.
And then yesterday, I was getting out of the shower, and I heard a damn door up here slam.
Oh, see, that shit gets me every time.
They were all open.
That gives me the creeps. Well, you want to hear the true confession? I think there's something in this house, too. Because, the guy died. And, like, every time I go upstairs, I'm just like, sometimes I just get really freaked out. And I can't really explain it. But, yeah, that would scare the shit out of me. Oh, my God. Yeah.
So my weapon of choice, by the way, was I was in the bathroom. So I quickly threw on my underwear. No, I grabbed my tweezers and, like, I had them sticking out.
You got to leave this in.
I'll leave this in. But I had them like sticking out so I could poke someone in the eye because I'm like, holy shit. Because in the meantime, it sounded like the door slammed and I thought, oh, the air conditioning must have kicked on, but the air conditioning was not on because it was cold outside.
Yeah.
And then I thought that, and the lawn maintenance guys were outside mowing. I'm like, if one of them broke into this house, which I didn't think that they would, they've been mowing our grass for 6 months and they're really nice guys. But I'm just thinking, holy shit, did someone break in the house while I was in the shower? I'm like, surprise, I bet you weren't, looking to see that one.
I would have grabbed the fucking hairspray. I would have been like, you're going to be blind temporarily for 30 seconds so I can run.
I don't have hairspray.
Oh,
have you seen my hair? But, so I had my tweezers and I came up here and every damn door was open, but I shit you not, a door slammed in his house.
I have to tell you, shit like that freaks me out, like to the point where, well, it's funny because I was in the bathroom a couple of days ago and sitting on the toilet peeing. I know that's TMI, but all of a sudden I could hear something going. I was like, what the hell was that? So I literally, how you freeze for a second and you're thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Do I move and then let them see me? Or do I like run out and say, freeze, motherfucker? So I hopped off the toilet really quick and walked out and just stood in the middle of the living room, and it did it again. And so then I could pinpoint where it was, and I was like, I went upstairs. So I came and got the Louisville Slugger, my grandpa's old bat, and I go upstairs, and I didn't see anything. So, of course, when I went to take a shower, I locked that damn door because I'm like, you are not going to surprise me when I'm in the shower.
This is not where I'm going to die. Not today, Satan.
No.
Not today.
So now I have the BB gun by the back door. But I'm just like, holy cow. I've just watched too many episodes of The X-Files. Too many. Oh, my God. Yeah.
I don't think The X-Files would make me scared of people coming into the house, but
it does me just because it's just that element of scariness. Just, yeah, like I know anything's possible. So, yeah. So that's a good way to...
That would make me more concerned about aliens breaking into my house, not necessarily a thief or someone that
totally
wants to...
explain why there's nobody in the attic when I open the door, because they're fucking invisible aliens. Oh, great. Right. Now, thanks.
Aliens aren't invisible. Ghosts are invisible.
How do you know? Exactly.
Because I know.
Aliens have the ability to make their UFOs invisible. So why would they not be invisible?
I see them all the time.
I see dead people. All right. Let's go. Let's get it rolling.
What are we talking about this week?
Legends.
Oh, yeah. Urban legends.
Hey, did you know that I don't know if you knew any of this, but or knew this at all, but urban legends, the phrase was coined in 1968. I thought that was pretty cool.
I do. I have that written down.
I was like, that's pretty neat, because it's one of those phrases you don't think about.
Right. So let's the definition of urban legends, because I don't want it to be confused with myth or conspiracy. So an urban legend is a modern story of obscure origin and with little or no supporting evidence that spreads spontaneously in varying forms and often has elements of either humor, morals, or horror. Ooh.
Yeah, typically horror. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find in this,
I only have one that's a scary thing. Maybe two.
I have a few that are scary, and I have to tell you, I think it's really funny in this day and age. I think urban legends definitely are created more easily.
Oh yeah, well, because there's so much more of an avenue for it. Like, people on internet will believe fucking anything you put out there. I keep saying that I'm going to stop everything else I'm doing and just put the most outrageous stuff on the internet and see how many idiots will follow it.
My luck, nobody would follow it. All right. So, what you got?
So, let's go with, I'm going to say my favorite two for last.
Okay.
But I'm going to start with the one, because I was trying to think, like, what is the first urban legend that I really heard and kind of believed and tried to prove?
Okay.
Would you like to guess which one that is? I'm sure you did it too. We all did it.
That there was somebody under your bed.
No.
Okay.
No. Bloody Mary.
That was not on my list, but okay. And I don't really recall what the urban legend was. What was it?
Well, so there's a couple different stories that go along with that, which is kind of like, so urban legends are almost like a gigantic game of telephone. Did you ever play that growing up? Yeah. So, you kind of spread from one person to the other and everything changes. So the thing about Bloody Mary is there was always some element of this little girl who was either tragically murdered because of her beauty, or she spent her entire life in an abusive situation where she was told how ugly and everything that she was, like, over and over again. So she believed it, and she spent a lot of time in front of the mirror trying to make herself more beautiful, and so much so that she crawled into the mirror, and that's where she's stuck now.
Okay,
so if you turn off the lights in your bathroom and you say Bloody Mary, I think it was 3 times.
Yes, that part.
Then she would appear.
That part was the only part I think I ever heard in my life. I did not know the reason why. So she was stuck in the mirror. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the urban legend that traditionally comes out to play is when you call her 3 times, she comes out of the mirror and she'll scratch somebody or kill someone, depending on how dark your group is, So
was that one based on any kind of reality at all? Because some of the urban legends are.
Yeah.
And there are some
and I have a couple that
and there
are.
are some that are actually real. So, okay. All right. So there's no basis behind that one.
I have one that I know for a fact is
Yeah.
real, but we'll get back to that. But not that one. I couldn't find any like story behind it that really ended up being fact. It was just kind of one of those things where it kind of spread from one place to another, and the story changed and blah
Just
blah blah.
sounded like a good
So-
story to make up and scare
right?
people
Something
with.
for girls to do at a sleepover.
And I have to tell you, my 16-year-old, I know at some point in time they've done it, because I can remember when she was about 11 or 12, they did it at a sleepover at our house. So
Yeah.
man, that one
I think
still
we've all done
just stood the test of time. So
You just light that pumpkin spice candle and have it like glowing in the corner and make her appear.
oh, I'd have to get a red candle. That's more more creepy. Bloody Mary. Is that the one? Wasn't there like some kind of urban legend where you like wrote on the mirror backwards or something? Or is that also one of the different variations of Bloody Mary?
I don't know. Good question. I didn't come across that. That wasn't something we did.
I grew up hearing something about that. Like if you wrote it backwards and it's probably just a variation of Bloody Mary. So.
Right.
All right.
How about you?
The one that always scared the shit out of me my entire life, probably since I was little, was the Hook. Do you know the one about the Hook?
It's been a long time since I heard that, so why don't you refresh my memory?
It's just the boy and the girl go out parking in the car in the woods, obviously, and while they're sitting there, the radio comes on and announces that there's been an escapee from the insane asylum who has a hook for one arm, and to be on the lookout because and then they realize they're pretty close to where the insane asylum is, so they leave. And when they get out of the car, they look down and they realize the hook is hanging from the door handle. So literally,
Ooh, that is
literally,
spooky.
he was right there with them all the time trying to get in the car. So that one always scared the shit out of me because
That's one, as somebody that actually spent a lot of time in their car
Yes.
out in the middle of the
Yes.
country, which looking at stars.
no. That is why it always stuck with me, because you're right. Growing up in the country, we partied out in the woods. We had bonfires. We drank around in the woods. We peed in the woods. We made out in cars in the woods. And this one always fucking freaked me out. And I totally could see that it really could happen. So, yeah, man. Do you remember? You remember that one, right? Now? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Now I do. Yeah.
Yeah. That one always freaked me out.
That's so funny. Another one I have, and this is like the last of my scary ones. The other ones are just like come on. I love them. I love them for what they are. They're cheesy goodness. But there's an urban legend that a guy was on a business trip and he decided to employ a lady of the night to come back to his hotel room with him, and they had a good time, and he woke up in the morning and his tub, she gets it, she knows, and it's filled with ice, and he's missing a kidney.
That was my second one. The stolen
Was
stolen
it? I
kidney.
love that story. I love that story.
We partied in the 90s, and that was, my grandma used to even say, you be careful. There's someone out there that's like taking kidneys, and that shit floated around for a very long time.
And people actually believed that stuff. And what's so funny is to this day, we'll be in a situation, I'll be like, this is how you lose a kidney. And that's what I mean. Like, this, like I've seen this show. This is how a horror movie starts. Like, no, thank you.
And I don't know if you saw, but literally the Kidney Foundation, there's a kidney organization or whatever, that literally believed it so much, they put a call out and said, if this has ever happened to you, please reach out to us. To the point where it was so believable that they thought that it might actually have happened. But I will tell you,
which there is a black market for like organs and stuff. So this one does actually have a little bit of truth to it, but it's not one particular story that is truth. There's definitely a black market for that stuff, and that's extremely unfortunate. But that particular story is not true in any way.
Yeah,
so.
I when I was researching it, I read that over in, don't quote me, India, somewhere like that, they have a strong black market where they take prostitutes, and then that's what they do. But yeah, girl, and the variation that I always heard was when you woke up, you had your cell phone next to you. Back then, it was a flip phone, and a little note that says "Call 911 or you'll die."
Right.
And
which, and the reality and the fact that it's crazy that people would believe this shit is you would be dead already.
Yeah.
So I mean, no one is capable of performing that surgery in a hotel room without you bleeding out or whatever. So.
Well, I
Yeah.
always heard it was, they had a professional doctor come in, or the guy who did it was a professional doctor. And I'm not kidding, girl. This one stuck in my head too in my partying days, because
Yeah.
I always thought in the back of my mind, I don't want that shit to happen to me. Don't put anything in my drink. So yeah, that's funny. That was my second one.
That's hilarious that we had the same one. Although that one's pretty good.
And that's one of the more popular ones. So I was thinking in my head, we've got to have some that are the same.
Everyone's heard that one.
My third one was, again, the car. It was The Vanishing Hitchhiker. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
It's just the one where they pick up where any number of people picks up a hitchhiker, drive down the road, and then look over, and there's no one there. So it's like a ghost hitchhiker.
Yes, I love all those stories. And again, there's different versions of that, and I just think it's so. That's kind of like the one where the girl that gets into the car and they take her, to where she's supposed to go, and she's dressed a little weird. But then the next day they start like researching it, and there was no person, but there was a girl that died in the 40s, blah, blah, blah. So I love those because I love a ghost story.
Yes. And growing up in the country, again, there were several roads where people had died. And
you could envision that. Yeah.
Like literally, in fact, for the longest time, there was a road near where my mom and my stepdad lived, and my mom can correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a spot on the road, and legend had it that was blood from the person that was walking on the road got killed. And I mean, that was there. That stain was there for years and years and years.
It's probably just a grease
stain.
That's
that
so fun.
Shit could not. That blood was not going to stay there that long. But so yeah, God, I'm telling you, mine always scared the shit out of me, because I always filed mine away in the back of my head and was like, oh, that shit's going to happen.
Well, there's a reason why when I go into the bathroom, I will always turn the light on before I go into a bathroom.
Really?
Yeah, I'll swing my arm around and flip the light on before I walk into the bathroom.
Oh, I always move the shower curtain back. You're not going to be hiding in my shower. No. It's like
this stuff embeds itself in your head, like the scary ones.
It
like
does.
that.
I never let my feet underneath the bed at night. Even last night,
Right.
like without thinking, there's somebody under my bed. So I hurry up and get in the bed.
I've never been scared of that before, but now
I always have this vision someone's going to slash through the back of your ankles. That was
girl, now I'm not going to be able to
That
sleep.
was an
Why
urban
would you tell me
legend
that?
too, where people hide under your car and slash your ankles.
Oh yeah.
See, that shit scares me. All right, what you got?
Okay, so this next one is not scary in any way. There's a whole urban legend that Elvis Presley did not actually die.
That's my favorite.
Do you have that one too?
No, but it's on my list. It's on my list for my favorite. Elvis is alive.
Oh.
And I don't even like Elvis.
Me neither. I'm not a huge Elvis fan, but it cracks me up that people, and of course, I mean, at this point in time, he'd be dead anyway. But there's this, and people are diehards about this stuff, like that. Faked his own death.
Photo of him sitting inside Graceland. I mean, I'm sorry, but it looks like him.
Never mind the fact that there are literally thousands of Elvis Presley lookalikes in the world.
It's crazy. It is. But this is one of the urban legends that I would honestly believe it if it was true, because I could see why he would want to get out of, everything he was in at the time. I would totally, that's one of those things where I'm like, dude, I get it, If you want to go hide.
I could see wanting to escape, but let's be completely honest about his situation. He, at that point, was a has-been. He was not in his prime. He had some very severe drug addictions.
Yeah, health issues, all kinds of things.
A ton of health issues. Like, it all made sense. Like, it honestly, is it that surprising that he died trying to poop?
Right. Yeah, no, but that's my top number one favorite urban legend of all time. So I like that one.
That's hilarious.
Like I said, it was inevitable that we would crisscross with some of these. Right. One of the ones that I really liked and was the don't pee in the pool, die.
Yeah.
Turns out that is not true, but
it's not true.
Literally hung over my childhood for years and years and years.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but when you're in the middle of playing as a kid, last thing you want to do is get out and go pee, and you're thinking, You're thinking, I can't, because then it'll
But
have
what if? What
but
if?
have you ever seen the movie Grown Ups? I think it's Grown Ups, where he pees in the pool and the cloud of dye floats out behind him.
Yeah.
It's not true. I read about it, and they said no, it is not true. It's not even possible, actually, because there's so many other things in the pool that it would interact with.
That's why I love a good chlorinated pool. Like, just there's so much gross stuff in a pool. You're swimming in just everyone's other fluids and
yes.
I love a pool.
So
though.
hey guys, go pee in the pools all you want, because it will never give you away.
Go to town. Go to town. Just urinate all over the place.
Yep. Why get out? Why get out? Why waste that time? Just swim.
Right. So I have two more, and I'm trying to decide which one would go first. I'm going to go with Bigfoot.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't think it's an urban legend. I think it's real.
I don't think it is either. I do think he's
too.
real. I think that there's some form of this creature that lives out in the woods, and it's completely understandable that they would be invasive towards like being found. Right. So, but too many people have witnessed it. There's too much actual proof out there. I love watching Finding Bigfoot on TV, even though they are incredibly cheesy about how they go about things. I love that stuff because I just think that it's definitely a possibility.
Absolutely.
And, one of my favorite shows is Harry and the Hendersons. So,
well, you have to think, okay, if they're not really real, what is this? A bunch of meth heads walking around in a damn furry ass suit? I mean, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Where's the fun in that? I don't know, but I agree. I think there's some portion of it is real. And even in the town where I grew up in, we had a couple of sightings when I was growing up in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So did you ever have that where you grew up?
No, we're surrounded by cornfield. I mean, we are like
perfect,
like country cornfield.
You're like
city.
children.
So
okay.
Kind of, yeah, which is why I don't walk in cornfields. I had a whole fear of that. That was a whole different, yeah. That's a whole different episode about how I do not walk into a cornfield. But no, not where we lived in Ohio, but here in Texas, it's a pretty firm belief that there are Bigfoots here. And then we lived in Washington State for a while too. So, which a huge, huge area for the, what do they call them? The people that look for them.
I don't know.
The Squatchers or whatever they call. Yeah, something like that. So they have a word for the people that actually like spend their lives looking for it. There's a word for it, but
I did not know that.
But that is one that I truly believe. Like that's it's listed under urban legend, but I would not be surprised if one day they really did prove.
Yeah, and my mom lives kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and she's got like 120 something acres.
Well, and she's surrounded by woods.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And she's always like, "I don't know why you're so scared." I'm like, "There are lots of reasons to be scared. Let me do."
I don't have a belief that he's aggressive though. So
I don't care. I don't want to see some hairy. The only hair I like is on my man's chest. I don't want no hairy creature walking towards me. You know what I mean? Ooh, speaking of, that is a lot of hairy undernut. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't want to talk about
That's a lot of hairy everything.
That's a lot of hairy undernut. We are all about the taint today.
Oh, that's a big ain't right there. Okay, I don't know. This is kind of an obscure one. I don't even know if you've ever heard of it, but I read a lot of really weird shit on my Facebook feed. I follow like Atlas Obscura and things like that. She's called La Pascualita. She's the corpse bride. Have you ever heard of her? No. I'm judging by your face that you haven't. Okay. Apparently there's a very famous bridal shop in Mexico somewhere, and they have had a mannequin in the window for 50, 60 years. And legend has it that it's his sweetheart and she died, and he dresses her up and leaves her in the window. And if you read the story about it, it's pretty freaky, and it does make you kind of question, because they've done, I think, studies on her, and people have kind of like touched her and looked at her, and it's pretty fucking freaky. They think that she's literally a corpse. So
that's so weird.
And I believe she's still in the window to this day. But
really,
yeah. But that's a pretty neat urban legend.
That's cool.
Yeah, her La Pascualita, I think is how you pronounce it. But that was always one of my favorites, because like that is weird. Like
I had never heard that one before.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, yeah. Do you have any more?
I do. I have one
Okay.
more. And we've all heard this one, and it's one of my favorites because it's just so
Unbelievable. Yeah.
yeah, it's so stupid. It's Richard Gere and the
That's
gerbil.
my third favorite. That's my third favorite. That I think that one was real. You want my honest opinion? I think that was real. Yeah.
I
do.
don't.
He was weird. I didn't like Richard Gere. Hated him in Pretty Woman. Creeper. I think it was real. Yeah.
So you didn't like him in a movie where he portrayed a character, so you think he might have shoved a gerbil up
I
his
think
ass.
so. Yeah.
And had what they call within the urban legend a gerbilectomy, because that is a true medical form or
I know
saying.
for a fact that it's definitely based on reality. Maybe not him and this situation. People end up in the emergency room all the time with shit shoved up their ass.
They do.
So I think it was kind
However,
of maybe formed from something like that.
it was formed from something, but there is nowhere on record where anybody.
Girl, do you think I would put that on record if that happened to me?
But it would be out there, like if he had, because the whole urban legend is that he ended up at what's the hospital out there?
Cedar-Sinai?
Cedar-Sinai, yeah. That he ended up there and had the medical term was gerbilectomy because
they coined it just for him. It's
right.
a thing. Look it up.
So, but there's literally no record of that, nor is there record of anybody ever being in the hospital for having a gerbil shoved up their ass. Including the other part of that was there was a second part
it was
to
alive
that
and running around.
where it where there was there's a whole other urban legend where it happened. They took and this is where you're like, come on, the sphincter is an extremely powerful muscle. Like this shit's not going to go down. If you shove a gerbil up there, it's going to be crushed and dead. But they supposedly shoved a paper towel tube up this guy's ass, let the gerbil go in, and then they couldn't get it out. So the guy had lit a match by the paper towel tube, and the guy that had the gerbil in his butt farted, and of course it lit this fire that burned the other guy's face. Like, this is how ridiculous this urban legend has gotten.
Oh my gosh.
So, but a couple years ago, someone had started, well, and I don't know, maybe it might have been Sylvester Stallone, but it's never been a real secret that he and Richard Gere were on film together in the 70s, and they didn't get along to the point that Richard Gere was actually fired from the film. And he says that there has always been like this belief that he was the one that started the rumor about Richard Gere and the gerbil. And he is not denied or admitted that he started that rumor.
Wow, that is so funny. He's probably like, I'm going to get you.
So he's not done. Yeah, he hasn't done one or the other, but he has admitted that there is the whole thing. There's people that say that he's the one that started it because I guess there was a huge fallout between the two of them on this movie.
That's so funny. Do you know what movie it was?
It was nothing I recognized. Okay. Yeah, but it was in the 70s. Okay. So, yeah, but to this day, they don't get along. So, to this day, they don't work on films together.
Wouldn't you hate to be the guy who was always known for that? Because literally, like, when you say Richard Gere, that's the first thing I think of is gerbil.
Right. But he's even, like, he hasn't necessarily ignored it. He's brought it up in just a handful of interviews where he just thinks that kind of stuff is cruel and it just sticks with somebody and it always kind of affects their career because once these things get out and people believe it, there's really no way to turn it around.
Well played, Richard
Gere.
So well played. Yeah. There's nothing like, not deflecting, but I still believe I for some reason I still believe this one. I do. I don't know. Just call me crazy. Call me crazy.
No, I don't believe it.
I have to tell you, since you've already picked my top two favorite, my third favorite was similarities between Kennedy and Lincoln, JFK and Lincoln. Have you ever seen this one?
That's fact. That is fact.
Fucking fascinating. I love that urban legend.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like they have the same amount of numbers in their or letters in their name. The way they died was the same, and it's just there are so many coincidences between the two that it's insanity. But I love that one. That was one of my favorite ones. Was that on your list?
That is a great one.
But you knew it.
No, that was on my list. I didn't think about that, but I know that one, and I totally that one. I mean, and they do that with a lot of historical events where they can kind of connect the dots on them, and I just think that stuff is always really fascinating.
Like the person who killed both of them, each had three names, like John Wayne Gacy or whatever his name was, and all that. But yeah, man, that one I like that one. I do. You know of any other ones that are like that where they compare the two people?
Not necessarily people, but different events in world
Yeah.
history. Like they can always see the correlation between the dates and the what happened and all
Yeah,
that other stuff.
right.
So there's a whole group of people that do that sort of thing that they just go and look for it. But sometimes it's similar enough that you can't really ignore it. So I'm all out. Do you have anything left, or do you have anything left to say?
I do. I have 2 urban legends that are actually true.
Ooh, please share.
There are a lot of them. I didn't realize there were so many that were actually true or based on truth. The first one was things can actually crawl up your toilet bowl. That does actually happen.
yeah.
Because I don't know.
Which is a huge fear of mine.
Mine too. At night, man, I always flip that light on, at least for a second, just to make sure there's no snake or, alligator was the urban legend, was a snake or an alligator was going to crawl up through your toilet and bite you in the ass.
Because the urban legend was like people like grab these alligators in Florida when they're
sewer.
on vacation, they take and dump them in the sewer, and then they grow and then
Come
they
back up through your lines.
Well, and it wasn't too terribly long ago here in our neighborhood, someone had a snake crawl up through the drain in their shower. Do you remember that? That was just last year.
That's some scary ass shit. I'm sorry. Nope. Moving out of that house.
But I have a huge fear of either being bitten by a snake or a spider on the ass. Like, I mean, that's just...
I've even gotten to the point...
It's a healthy fear. It's a
where
healthy
I will
fear.
look under the rim of it sometimes because I'm like, I don't know. Just sometimes I get extra scared and think, oh, maybe it's under the... But, I mean, I've seen enough pictures of where snakes can hide. They can get anywhere.
They're tricky.
Yes. All right, the second one that I have was you can actually get electrocuted in the tub or the shower during a thunderstorm. I did. I
Really?
grew up, my grandpa worked for an electric company, and that was always something we were told. Don't ever take a shower, don't ever take a bath when it's a thunderstorm because you'll get struck by lightning. And I was like, they're just trying to scare me. They don't, but that
I never heard that
actually
before.
true. Lightning can strike your house and come through the pipes into your shower. It's actually happened before. So don't
That's
take
crazy.
a shower when it's raining or when it's
Great.
lightning. Yeah. So, but I've lived dangerously and I've done it a couple of times.
You're living on the edge.
I'm still here. So anyway, that's all I have.
Awesome.
I love urban legends. I'm gonna tell you what, and it's really funny because when I was reading, the same ones kept popping up and up and up. It's almost like this core of just the really popular ones, And there were some of the really popular ones that neither you nor I actually touched on, which was really funny. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but just crazy, man. Crazy urban legends. And there's actually a site where it's literally it's like daily, and they have the urban legends that are popping up on Facebook, which I thought was a pretty cool website. It kind of akin to Snopes. If you go on Snopes, you can see if an urban legend is true or not, or if whatever you saw on Facebook is true or not. So inevitably, when someone posts one of these stupid shit on Facebook, I'm like, yeah, let me go to Snopes and see if that's true. I hate to bust your bubble, but that's not true. Snopes said it's not.
Oh God! And then they're like, I know. I just thought it was funny. I'm like, no, you didn't know.
I know, right?
Yeah, you're just an idiot.
Well, that was a fun subject to talk about.
Yay!
Yeah.
I don't know why I just did that. I'll take that out.
Yay!
Yay! We got cookies.
Yay. That was kind of scary. Yeah, we got cookies. What the hell is that shit?
I don't
have a
know.
white
That's
van
like
in
me
the
cheering for
driveway?
cookies. I don't know. Does it have cookies in it? I'm hungry.
All right.
Okay, so before we get to a random question, do you want to go over business?
Yeah, I did. We have a couple of social media things to talk about this week.
Yep.
You guys, if you head over to our group page on Facebook, we started a really fun segment called Guess the Host. And if you go over and join our group page, you're able to chime in and answer the question. What we do is we throw up a random question every Tuesday morning, and you have to guess which host you think it is. And you guys are 0 for 0. So here's crossing our fingers that next week you'll get it. I told one of our listeners, just do the opposite of what you really think it is, and you'll probably get it right. So our first question was up last week, and our second question was up this week. Last week was me. This week was Copper. So head on over and join the group page so you can answer who you think it is. So
Right.
we also had another thing. We're trying to generate some quote graphics so we can throw up on our social media. So if you have a quote that you think is really funny that we've said, Sesame Street in the Suburbs, bitches, has already been taken. So, which you know it would. You know it would. So help us out. Help us out. We've only had like one person who so graciously answered for us. So we just thought it'd be really fun to throw around. That way help gain some more, traction to our little pod, so.
And we talked about this, and Heather's like, I don't want to listen to the shows again. So
I need to, but it's like I don't have that attention span. I'm like, have you seen my to read list and my to read pile of books? I don't know. So, but anyway, to finish wrapping up social media, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on lifeunderthelaundrypile.com. We also have Twitter, Instagram, and do we have anything else? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, website.
You said the website? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You sure
and we
did.
both also have our own sites, which mine is actually back up and running again. Copper is neverdrinkfrommommiescup.com, and I am one fed up mommy. So go show me some love. My poor Facebook page, I lost it, and there's like nobody over there. So come find us.
It's getting there. Slow is the way to go.
So come find us.
All right. Are you ready for the random question?
I think.
Okay. If you were arrested without explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done?
Oh my gosh. The first thing to the top of my head would be they'd probably, I don't know. I'm going to say road rage because they know how frustrated I've become since moving here with the traffic.
Right.
I don't know. I have no idea. I would have to say that the two things for me would either be some form of public shenanigans. I love that word, shenanigans. Either with nudity or drunkenness involved, or both. Or my sisters would probably be inclined to think that it would be something to do with my temper, because they seem to think, I don't know where they get it from, that I'm a little hot-headed. So I just realized what mine would be. They would think I stole $1.2 million of fajita meat.
I could see that happening. I fully understand where that guy was coming from.
I don't like meat. Why would I steal that? So
profit, baby.
I don't know, man. This one stumped me. I have no idea. Maybe you guys can help me out. I have no idea. If I got arrested, I have no idea what I would get, what my family would think, or my friends. What would you think I would get arrested for?
I don't know.
Right? I'm like kind of docile. Sometimes, maybe not.
Like you're going to go out in public anyway. You're just going to stay home. You're not going to go somewhere and do something where you have to be,
right? Oh,
retained by the police.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Probably arrested when you were picked up on the side of the road after claiming that you were abducted by aliens.
I know what it would be. That's a good one though. It would be because I passively aggressively yelled at the person who wouldn't let me pull out in front of them. That's exactly what it was.
Is that illegal? I do that at least 3 times a day.
I do it all the time too. I'm like, you asshole, your car has a blinker. Oh, your car didn't come with a blinker?
Yeah.
Instead of like flipping somebody off like, regular people would do, I just like to bitch at them from behind my steering wheel,
All right. Well, head on over to the group page and let us know what you would be arrested, what your family and friends would assume you'd be arrested for.
This one should be fun.
Yes,
Though
I
it was
agree.
a stumper for me. I have no idea. So.
It was hard. I could list a bunch of things that my family would assume that I had done.
Well, I mean, if I had more time to think about it, I'm sure I could think of stuff. But off the top of my head, I could not. So what are we talking about next week?
So next week, we are going to talk about Stranger Things.
Yes.
So if you haven't ever heard us talk about this before, we both love the show Stranger Things. Season 1 was about a year ago.
Netflix, by the way.
And we watched it, yes, on Netflix. I was getting there. Thank you. And so we're going to do a recap of the show next week, because the day that the show will come out will also be the day that, drum roll please,
Season 2.
Season 2.
Yay.
And then we are going to, every week after that, do a little segment where we recap one episode at a time, which is going to be extremely hard for us, but it's a challenge because we just want to watch it all
And
at
we
once.
probably will anyway. So we'll act surprised.
We will, but we'll take notes, right? Right. So we're extremely excited, and we hope you are too. And then we'll recap season 1, so everyone's ready to. After, the kiddos are asleep on Friday night, they can crawl into bed and just binge watch it until 4:00 in the morning, like we will be doing. So
maybe we need to tell people what Stranger Things is, because I would imagine they're
who
my mom
who would
my
not
mom,
know?
my mom. Yeah.
Get on it, woman.
Tell her what it is. Tell her what it's about in a nutshell.
So Stranger Things is a show. It's based in the 80s,
awesome.
and it's so good. And it just kind of follows the same lines as Close Encounters, X-Files.
It's like a scary
some
Goonies
other shows?
E.T. kind of.
Yeah. So it follows these kids. There's actually a couple of storylines really involved with it. So it's got that feel to it. The music is awesome. The way that they have portrayed that time period is really cool. So, and it's creepy as all get out.
And binge watching on
Trust
Netflix
us.
is so freaking easy. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack.
Heather was, because I'm like, this is going to be hard because I'm going to want to watch the entire thing that one night. And you're like, no, I can control myself. I'm like, no, you can't. I know you'll be watching it.
I'm so excited to watch it again. Because
I know,
it just
me
went
too.
so fast.
I'm sure.
And the soundtrack.
And I'm sure like we'll miss things. And so we'll be like, oh my God, did you see that?
The soundtrack to it was amazing. My brother said he downloaded
It is.
it last year when it came out. And I was like so jealous. But yeah, pretty amazing little show. Anything in the 80s is awesome to me. So,
Right.
yeah.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, no, not so much. No. See, and I didn't even really dig Harry and the Hendersons when you like Harry and the Hendersons.
One of the saddest scenes in a movie is in that movie.
And Harry and the Hendersons? Really?
Uh-huh.
We'll have to do another
Yeah.
80s movie version, and we'll talk about it. Cause,
Yeah. It's for the most part really cheesy, but what I think is one of the saddest fucking scenes ever is actually in that movie.
I do not recall.
I tear up. I tear up every time when he's trying to get Harry to go back in the woods.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I could see that.
Okay. So, yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. So, looking forward to next week when we talk about Stranger Things under the laundry pile.
Yes. That's such a witty title. You're so smart.
We are.
That is such a witty title. You're so smart.
Halloweening in full
We
effect.
are.
Halloweening.
Well, I mean, as much as we can, which is basically us binge watching a TV show and Googling spooky stories online.
Yeah. Well, as long as you watch Hocus
That's the
Pocus
extent.
at some point during this month, you're good. And I consider you accomplished for Halloween.
And I've watched it like 15 times,
I've seen
right?
it once. So I'm failing miserably. Failing.
Ugh.
Best Halloween movie of all time, I have to say. Yep. All right.
All right. Well, we'll see you back here next week.
Yep.
And until then,
Have a good week.
you
Bye.
too. Bye.